everyone, my name is Justin and welcome to Mia Prep's Civics course. In this course, you are going to be learning corny political one-liners, sarcastic government jokes, and loads of useful information. Buckle up because over the next few months, we are going to be pretending to be philosophers, politicians, and journalists. The thing is, all of these characters have had an important role in defining our nation's political culture. But then again, maybe we don't need to play pretend. Because as it turns out, the most important person in this great American drama is you. All right. Every great adventure starts with a number of questions. So, let's look at a few. How many federal workers does it take to change a light bulb? None. The job has been contracted out to a private firm. Here's another one. If George Washington were alive today, why couldn't he throw a silver dollar across the Potomac? Because a dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. Okay, enough of that. I'm sure you've all fallen out of your chairs and your stomachs are cramping from all that laughter, but seriously, these two jokes bring up some pretty important questions, like what is the relationship between government and business? And how does that relationship impact private citizens? Or better yet, what is money? How does it relate to government, to individual citizens, and to private businesses? In this class, we're going to answer important questions like these, and many more. But first, let's take a magic carpet ride. So, for our first field trip, we want you to imagine togas and cobble streets with large arches, coliseums filled with gladiators. Have you guessed where we are? You got it. We just stepped into ancient Rome. Civics comes from civis, which is Latin for citizen as well as city. Think about that for a minute. Pause the video now and jot down a definition for the word civis. Oops, sorry, got a little tongue-tied. I meant civics. Okay, let's see if your definition matches Webster's. Civics is the study of what? Citizenship. And that is what we all have. But citizenship implies many different things. If there's a citizen, then there's a government. If there are citizens and governments, then there has to be something that determines the way the two interact. This something is a set of constitutional rights and liberties, governmental powers, and a political structure. So, civics is the study of rights, duties, and privileges of citizenship, as well as the government structure and distribution of power between branches and levels of government. Throughout the semester, we are going to throw at you numerous ideas, terms, and events that are all meant to highlight one very important person. And that person is you. Seriously, civics is really the study of you, the individual, and how your desires, needs, and power shape the world you live in. This class is really just the study of you navigating a world, oftentimes confusing and difficult, but also filled with beautiful potential. All right. Now that you are filled with curious inspiration, let's take a look at the key objectives for this class. Where does the adventure begin? Well, the next lesson gives us a clue, the first stop on our journey to personal political empowerment. What is the government? What are the other key parts of society it interacts with in order to manage society? There are a few basic types of governments, such as democracy and monarchism, but each type has many variations. Our journey's first major excursion ends with a very sobering look at what happens when people stop believing in their own power and democratic participation. It's called authoritarianism. I hope you pack lightly and efficiently, because the second unit is a difficult climb up the philosophical cliffs and into the ideas and principles of American democracy, as well as the early developments that shaped those ideas and principles. Sounds tough. Maybe you need a minute to wipe the sweat that I'm sure is beading down your brow. Don't worry though, there are plenty of places for you to catch your breath, and these beliefs are already a part of you. They have been taught to you since you were a child. Anyone out there plan on being an engineer or just love mechanics? Well, we've got something for you too. We have to take a pit stop in Unit 3 to check our gear to make sure we have all the right stuff to make it to the end. In Unit 3, we look at the structure of government and the way that structure works. Government is a system, just like an engine or a skyscraper or your own body. Each part is designed specifically to interact with the other parts that make the whole thing function. What do you think it means to be free? I bet I can tell what you're guessing. Being free means getting off the computer and going back to whatever it is you were doing. Back to your video game. Maybe back to a nice family trip. Well, one of the most important stops along the way is going to have us taking a closer look at the numerous answers to this question provided by the many civil rights movements we've had throughout American history. We have had a rich history in important moments that help us define democracy. Well, what could possibly follow such an important concept as civil rights? Well, what comes next is something that's raucous, chaotic, and oftentimes corrupt. You want to take a guess? I'll give you a hint. Think elephants and donkeys. Think red and blue. Yep, you guessed it. It's America's two-party political system and the campaign trail. Not officially a part of government, political parties are a key component as to how government works and as to how loud your voice is. Political parties are the face of law and policy. But what does that really mean? What is policy? What is the political process of policy creation? Well, that's simple, really. We're just talking about direction. The direction of all of us as a nation. Politicians have numerous actors influencing them and the direction that we go as a nation. We're going to near the end of the trip by taking a closer look at the specific influences on political process, political parties, and policy creation. We'll also take a look at how business and media shapes policy, how they affect democratic processes, and our own personal political ideas. The journey ends exactly where it begins, with you, the citizen. At the end of this trip, you're going to learn to see yourself as a citizen and as a political actor, not only in your own life, but in society at large. We're going to look at how democracy needs you in order to survive the changes normal to history. As the world changes around you, you will see that it is always you and your community that are able to shape those changes, to make sure the world is a better place for you and whatever comes next. So we have to end the course with an analysis and evaluation of the many ways democracy needs active citizens in order to defend itself from authoritarianism. Sorry to put such a burden on you. I know, living in a democracy is a lot of personal responsibility. But it's kind of like that old guy once said, right? With great power comes great responsibility. And that's the thing. You have great power. So let's learn how to use it responsibly. Hey, it's been real, it's been fun. I'll see you all next time. And until we meet again, remember to vote, debate, participate.